the series is really about inspirations to help you thrive in this new world that we are having the opportunity to create. So many different things are showing up, both in our interactions with others and with ourselves. So I hope this serves you all well. Today we have a very, very special guest who has been in my life for, oh my gosh, I don't know, probably about over 30 years. Wow, over 30 years. I didn't realize that. When I think about my age, I had to do the subtraction. And so Sweet Medicine Nation she's an incredible teacher, guide, medicine woman, artist, plant woman, earth mama, just giving so many gifts to us. Actually, I was going to share this just because it stunned me. It's one of my pictures that I have that sits with me. And this was from my vision quest from when I was 33, and I was coming out of the sweat lodge before I went up to the mountain to sit for 4 days with, I was under your wing at that point. So and Good Horse. And I felt so much love, just gratitude when I was reflecting on that experience and how it really catapulted and opened a crack in my heart and my consciousness that it felt natural. All of it just felt like what was true. And it was a beautiful reflection that I got to have. So I'm holding this question here for insights, inspirations, this place of how we as a community, as a whole collective, as a global community, can be creating. How can we, do something that we have this opportunity to really shift. It's such a great opening and opportunity to shift. And I'd love to hear your insights, your visions, your heart.
Okay, thank you so much, Grace. And for all of you that are with us today, for me, the first thing I want you to just consider, and it's a consideration, it's something that is very big, but is a concept for some of you maybe brand new. So you need to be with it just a little bit. This isn't a bad thing that's happening. This is a gift that was prophesied when we would come to the fifth world, and we're in it. There is no necessity for us ever in any lifetime, any incarnation, whether it's just moments that we live or 100 years plus. We do not need to evolve. We have always been eternal light. We are a part of a journey. We are not separate from the whole of what is brilliant. However you want to look at what that means to you, light. We are co-partnering on Earth. And we screwed up a little bit in our own journey, believing, trusting, educating, and following to be the good people, to do the right things, to do what our civil rights and our Constitution gave us. but something has gone wrong. Right. Now is the time for us to realize we woke up and now we're paying attention. It's like when you used to ride in the back seat of the car, mom and dad drove, and you just went from one place to another. Okay, and then you're behind the driver's seat, and the whole view is different. Here we are. We are in what I like to coin is a proverbial vision quest. And what this means to me in its metaphor is that we need to come up out of our melting during this time, or our dissolving, our beliefs, our systems, even our politics of how we govern ourselves in a daily life, because we're still wanting the normal. But everyone is prayed for the extraordinary, not for the normal. Praying for the change, praying for the truth, praying for deliverance, or please keep this loved one alive. Don't take them. You know, we've all experienced that. And what I want to say is your prayers have been answered. My prayers have been answered. Someone's been listening, and it doesn't look the way we wanted it to. There is a happily ever after, but it's not a fantasy. That which we in our human brains can conceive in the material world is limited unless we throw off our cocoons and we learn to take flight. So the way that I look at a vision quest and how this came to me was I was in Brazil when all this happened, and I got the decision of whether or not to fly on planes full of panicked people back to a continent where things were just about as going awry as there was in Brazil, or staying and waiting. And so Spirit guided me to stop, cancel everything. I had a full schedule for 2 months, and to listen. I'll guide you. So that's what happened to me. And I realized in getting ready to do the decision to cancel everything, I became aware, and I listened, and I followed what Spirit said. Some were very comical because they were not my nature, but Spirit, sometimes I test Spirit, which is not a good thing to do because Spirit's a little stronger than us. So don't challenge the Spirit, but I became aware that as a public figure that I am, and a ceremonialist, and also a background of medicine, that I needed to take a lead. And so I prayed for a whole day. What is this about? And saw Vision Quest. Why? Vision Quest requires us to fast. I'm sure all of you are fasting from the things you thought you were supposed to be doing, what was on your schedule, what you had planned. And, you know, it's like, wow, this is the first Mother's Day that's going to be totally different. We're going to have to do it with the means we've invented out of our knowing and power to create the visual of a telepathic through the air communication. Wow, we're so powerful. Look what we've created, that we're able to do this today. Mm-hmm. Okay, so fasting for me, in this sense, normally it's fasting from food and water. So, and the distractions of the outer world, which, as you know, in your own house, you could set your goal and say, wow, perfect time to be able to clean out my closet, or whatever you decide to do. Build that tree fort for the kids in the backyard. Do my spiritual practice every day. Commit to that, you know. How many distractions there are. So we still have the trappings of the old
dream.
The dream or the waywardness. I'll just say we're going the wrong path sometimes. So today what I feel is that our fast is really from the things that we didn't appreciate that we had. Freedom, the opportunity to go and see people. I had friends come by here and we're standing 8 feet apart. And I'm like, I normally run up to them and hug them, and they hug me. And we were talking about the pain of not being able to hug your own children or your grandchildren because you haven't been with them for months. And so there's that. I noticed the kind of this feeling like, oh, should I invite them in? No, I better not invite them in. You know, it's like this hesitation. So I realized, okay, the fast means we're fasting. The other part is it's an ordeal. It's an ordeal to stand in an altar for 4 days and 4 nights and pray to that which created you and say, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing here? And if you let me do that, what am I supposed to, how do I do it? You know, give me the means. Well, I see that this is a good incubator time, a good sitting on our nest of our dreams and our hopes for a new world. This isn't a one person thing. This is a global, all of us together for the first time, well, since some of the other destructions on the earth. I'm thinking about one thing I want to share here that's come to my mind, and I think it was 2006. They were digging up the streets of Mexico City to put in a new septic system and discovered the goddess of the moon disc, which is about maybe 10 to 12 feet across, an incredible bronze kind of stone. And it depicts the moon that has been decapitated and dismembered into 5 different parts. This represents the 5th world, the layers, the levels of help that have been given where we didn't pay attention. The reason in the myth or the history of why this happened is her brother killed her. The brother represents the uninformed actions that we take, actions that are cumulative. You know, this was created in 1400s. That's how old this disc is. But nobody knew it was there. They didn't even know that Mexico City was on top of a pyramid. There are a lot of things. But anyway, at that moment, I realized today that came to me is like I was out doing ceremony and saying gratitude for the river that flows by me here, and also this moon these last couple of nights, and what she affords me in my ordeal of this time. And asking for the strength to not hear my little voice of like, whining, I can't do this and I can't do that, but really like, okay, you have my full attention. Now what are we to do? So I know that we're in that. And then there is a moment where you are struggling. If any of you have had like a severe pain or birthing a baby and you think, I cannot do it one more moment. That's what the butterfly says coming out of its chrysalis. This is too constricting. This is not a good place. I feel like I'm going to die if I stay here. I can't do it anymore. And then it pops out. Well, that moment will come for all of us in an aha moment. It will be a realization. We call them vision quests because we call that the vision, but really it's about crying in the wilderness to know ourselves. And I do other things today that's in my own tradition that I learned I thought people didn't care about, and that's the soul purpose readings of the prints of our fingers. So before we're born, we already have a contract. Why aren't we doing them? Why aren't we playing our role instead of being governed by someone else's? So we need a new world. Yeah, this is what's going on in this beautiful moon, this Scorpio moon. You know, scorpions have poison and they look kind of scary like spiders. And so when you see them, I have a place in Guatemala. So when I see these big black things, I my heart, I can't tell you, even though I know what they are, my heart does an adrenaline rush. It could be an inch long, or it could be like 9 inches long. It doesn't matter. It's like a rattlesnake, whether it's a baby or it's a grandma, you know? So something's got us to say, don't eat the poison. Don't tread on me, pass me by, but be alert. So that's where I'm at today. And what I think that, you know, we need to be inspired by. This isn't what it looks like. My grandfather used to say that to me all the time. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. And I would just like, well, then give me the answer. And he wouldn't. He'd say, you think it. I know you can find it. This is not what you think. So I learned the language of metaphor. There's more behind what's really going on. The human is limited, like a piece of paper. You can only write on it so long, and then that paper is covered. But if you realize you're an eternal being that always has been, and that your light is what needs to come onto the earth now, and that could be your knowledge, your brilliance, your love, mainly love, or this, what we call this purposeful existence to assist, then we're doing what we need to. And when we come out of our quest, I'm praying that a new world, not one where we grieve and we regret shedding the skin. I mean, there are lessons in it, and I feel for those who've lost their lives, well, their families. But incarnation is very fast at this time. So they're going to come back knowing, refreshing. So I bless all the babies because they're our future. I'm looking to them. But this is what kind of comes to me today. It's like, this is not a crisis. This isn't what we're being fed or what we're being told is mixed messages. So, you know, it's like, I love this band Talking Heads, not because of their music, but because of the metaphor of their name, because that's what we are. And look, we're just heads today talking to each other, but it's what's inside. Yeah, it's what's inside. What is talking to you? Are you only seeing at this level, you know, just at the level of you're looking at two women today? Or are you looking beyond into yourself and recognizing what I'm saying is your truth? So these are the things that I feel are very vital. And not to be in fear is a huge one. I can feel it in an empathic way. We're all in the same swimming pool. So if somebody jumps in, we're going to feel the waves. Somebody moves, somebody's afraid, we're going to feel that fear. Somebody dies, we're going to be crying. We don't know why. Something happens where, you know, like a quarter of the Amazon being in Brazil, the truth is it's really going away very, very fast. And nobody's doing anything about it right now because we're all focused on a virus, right? Well, then let's create a different virus. Let's create our own vaccine, which is one of this isn't what is real. You know, it's like find the truth within your hearts, what I'm saying. And, you know, we could say, well, I'm going to tell you that in 88% of the people who are here on the earth, we're here to do a bigger job than you've ever been given a degree to do. At least a piece of paper degree.
Uh-huh.
You came in with a contract to do something huge at this time. So you said, okay, sure, I'll go down there. Oh, there's going to be this very terrible epidemic. Okay, I'm going because I know what to do. You know, I will be there. I'll hold the space. I'll do my part. Well, you signed up for that. So if 88% of us said we would do that, then this is what we have to look at if you want to look at statistics, if you want to look at numbers. If, instead of looking at a death toll, because we've never paid attention to it. Have you ever paid attention to it? No, but I have because of different events I've gone to with doctors. And there used to be AIDS, was cancer. I mean, we looked at different different things, you know, Zika virus, you know, all these different things. So here we are today. Let's start looking at how many of us come online with light. I don't know how that's going to be counted, but I'm going to look for it. And you young ones that haven't had so much indoctrination, and I want to say, pay attention and follow what is truth. And the truth isn't going to be out in the world. I mean, maybe even what I'm saying isn't fully all the truth that can be known. So govern by what is gifted to you here in your own soul center, your own heart center, because that's where it's going to come, not in this stinking thinking up here. This thing gets in the way because it's been programmed. It has a lot of applications, but not governing this one. So listen deeply. Put your hands on your heart. Thank the Mother Earth that she gave you a heart that you get to hold, that keeps you animated. And then look at what it is we could create. You know, I find it interesting. It's the first word of this group is beyond.
Beyond. We're going.
Let's go beyond.
We are going beyond.
And what is broth? But it's really an electrolyte. It's the breaking down completely of a life to a form of elixir and a medicine that has been potentized for us. And to honor the life that gave that, down to our hollow bones, down to the original structural makeup of a human body. Pay attention to those things. There's something a lot deeper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned that I'd like to perhaps give people a little bit of an experience of, because I'm all about experience and bringing it in so that it touches, you know, it can touch you. And that's what to me makes shifts. Is the idea of the vision quest and how, you know, it's such a place of surrender and trust. And, you know, it's being out there for 4 days and trusting that life is showing us exactly what we need to see, even though, as you said, we might not think it should look that way. It should look different, more comfortable maybe, or whatever. So is there something where, you know, a practice perhaps that's like a morning practice of how your day begins, and you welcome that vision quest, you welcome it and use that in your awareness throughout your day? Because we are interacting, we're in our lives. We're not going off to the mountain for 4 days. We could, but not most of us. People are in the world and in their lives, in their families, more so than ever.
Uh-oh.
Gotta get the phone first.
No, I don't know how to turn it off. Oh well. I can't. I'm not gonna, it's the technology. You know, when you start speaking, things start happening. So I'll just leave it as it is. This phone never rings, so it must be my mother calling, but it's okay.
It is the
anyway
calling.
You're right. So what I would say, there's a few things here, what you just said, that come to mind to me. One is to appreciate what's right in front of you. You know, every day I go and I put a pinch of tobacco, which is also imbued with my prayer. I did that early this morning, out into the air or to the spirit, and it goes wherever that wind carries it, you know, but I can't do that without my hands. I could make a voice into the wind, but we were given, if we were to stay in just light, we wouldn't have been given bodies. So you have to ask, well, why was I given a body? And then what makes me different than four-leggeds and legless ones and hoppers, crawlers, bounders, you know? And it's these hands. So I see people that are crippled and paralyzed that can't move. And that started me thinking about the hands and what I know about them. So, you know, our fingers in appreciation, there's people who do mudras. And in the form of medicine I learned thousands of mudras that tell a story about cellular parts of our body. But the one that's very indigenous to me is the count. And the count is to count what is the old calendars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go the other hand, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we have toes. These are the counts of also all of our joints. So mobility and health. But the most important finger that I think is our index finger. It's our power and what we say with this power. Our thumb is our head and how we think. Our index is our power. Our middle finger, that one that's very expressive, some people say, when you let it stand up, is actually our message to the world. And our ring finger is what we do in the world, how we be in the world. And our little finger is how other people see us. So when I look at that, I do this blessing when I'm holding that tobacco. And I realize that my head and my power are linked together, holding that tobacco. And the universe of my whole map of life, my quest to be here this lifetime, or all lifetimes, is etched in my map here. And in the power of the symbol of my contract in my fingers, I make that breath and release that tobacco or the cedar. And I make a visible sign. I'm enacting because we all get to use our hands. Imagine, you know, like little kids sometimes pretend like they're lapping, like they see their kitties and puppies do, their soup or something, they're playing. But imagine someone who has no hands or cannot use their hands. That's what they would have to do. So be in grace that this is what informs your universe. It's what helps you. You have guardians. They're your fingers and your hands that can help reach out. And they're, you know, it's a simple thing, but this is very complex. It's probably one of the most complex parts of our whole body structurally. You know, the tendons, the muscles. It's like there's a lot here. And we need our hands. But that means, yes, that spirit wants us to show up. And there's a tradition of the 5 hands, which are the 4 directions and the different elements. And it's at the level of the earth. And I think about that of like, earth is our foundation here. It's where we came to have a human experience. So this is one practice. The other is to make a prayer every day with something that is a gift to you. Tobacco's not everybody's medicine. And it wasn't mine. I have to say I had a great aversion to it. But indigenous people used tobacco to make the visible sign because that was what was required of them by the plant. And if you don't know any of that, if you had no teaching that a plant could talk to you and ask you to do something, and you enacted it for thousands of years, and then your people were annihilated, then you lose all the memory of how important that was. Okay, so hopefully we're going to lose the memory of the corrupt part of the program, and that we're going to remember, we're going to bring back the gratitude of just simple things. You know, sometimes I sit and I pour water at night and put it near my bed. But before I set it on that table there, I am blessing it. I'm asking for the clarity of water. I'm a water blesser around the world. I go and bless headwaters and ask for things to be purified again. Our waters is what I'm talking about. and it's our tears and our lakes, rivers, our rain, whatever. Okay, now the rain's going to come because we are grieving. Something is changing. So I bless the water. I ask it to be blessed, and then I place it there for the night. In the morning, I get up and I bless the water gift that was given to me, and I drink the glass of water to be reunited with clarity, like almost like a cleanse. That spirit is put in the original waters, not the waters I've created, but here it's well water. So I know it's original water, but it's all the water that ever will be is all the water that is here. And it's in us as well as the lakes and rivers now. And there's lots of us. So let's bless the water. Remember the water. If you've ever done a vision quest and you don't get to have any water for 4 days and 4 nights, you learn very quickly water is vital. Yeah. It is life and it is sacred. But if you don't ever go, you can have a Coca-Cola, or you can have your Pepsi, or you can have your tea or your coffee or your juice. You just don't drink water. My father never drank water. He didn't like it. He said it tastes bad. He grew up on other things in Oklahoma. The water was poisoned, so he didn't trust the water. So for me, I say we need to go back to some very original basics. And yes, drink your water. And the importance of blessing things. Just all you have to do is put your hands over your food and let your hands, feel the food in the plate and say thank you. That's as simple as it is. Just gratitude. I put my hand to the food, I put it to my forehead, I put it back, and I put it to my heart. Feed this brain that has just got all kinds of disruptive things in it. It's got a maze. And then feed the soul that knows and guide me, carry me, keep me well. These are things we need right now. What can you do? This is the vaccine, connecting to your source. Remembering you're part of the tree of life. The other thing that they discovered during the digging up of this temple in Mexico City, I love archaeology, but I love how it overlaps and reminds us. And I hadn't thought about this until last night. They dug up this trunk of a tree, like a big trunk of a tree, and within its roots was an urn that it probably started out in as a small tree that was set at the courtyard. It's a sacred ceiba tree in Mexico, and its trunk petrified because they covered it all up before the conquest. They started covering it so it couldn't be found. And so the tree got covered. And on the tree were what they found as fragments of paper. And in those days, paper was not the paper we have today, but it was made out of plants. And on it, they can't decipher, but there was a form of giving a gift at that tree in gratitude. So we know the tree of life, we're all part of that, that we understand that better now. And I want to just say, you can give a gift up to nature. Go hang a wish and a gratitude on a piece of string out in the forest. Just, go hug a tree for the day, say thank you for the oxygen, and hang your wish there and just let go and see what happens.
It's really so simple. So simple.
Simple things.
So simple. When you were speaking, I just want to mention one thing that I thought of, that gratitude, starting it here. And I think about when I put my hands on my heart, or my hands on my belly, and the gratitude for this part of life. Mm-hmm. And how when I fill this part, I just empty, I just want to give. And mm-hmm. So I think so many people, there's that distortion of giving too much or receiving too much. There's that swing, and where that balance places, it's all part of the healing, though. There's nothing wrong with any of it, but if we're bringing our attention to the simple things of the elements and our humanity and animals and the earth. I think that's just feels really right. It's very right.
Well, you use the word surrender, which means to render up, to offer up. You know, it's like a little child putting their hands up, carry me. It's like they're done. They can't take another step, and they know that they can be lifted up by the things that are bigger than them. And we are afraid to surrender. That word scares people, like the same as fear. Fear's something we make up because we can't see ahead to the next step. We don't trust. So to take the step, whatever it may look like, just take the step, and then ground will be under you, and it'll show you what to do next. And to render up the things that we don't understand. Every day I just say, instead of like going, what is going on here? You know, this is not okay. I don't like being lied to. And we are in the prophecy of the Iroquois nation. They told our Constitution writers, a time will come if you are carrying an illness to us from where you came, that it will be called the great lie. And we are in the time. And these were the peacemaker tribes. You know, they were the first to make the 13 tribes come together. And the sense of what you know as Hiawatha. But what we understand is the power of these chiefs to be able to say, we got to put down, we can't do this anymore. We can't war. We need to collaborate. We need to be unified. So the word surrender then unifies us. And in that, then comes the giveaway. Like after Vision Quest, you do a big giveaway. It's your gratitude expression to those that supported you through the passage. Well, what are we going to give in our giveaway? What? Yeah, we give our alliance. We give our commitment to live fully, to pay attention to the things that are precious to us. Just because you get to breathe today doesn't mean that we'll get to breathe in 10 years if we cut down all the trees. Yeah. So it's just these kind of things, simple things like the food in your refrigerator. What can you make out of what you have? It's almost like a game. You know, how long can I go without going to a store? Okay, I'm going to play this game. Oh, I'm noticing all of a sudden I'm a vegetarian. Oh my gosh, now I'm a vegan. And then you just see this wonderful thing unfold and you go, oh, this is what it's like. Okay. So I love the surrender because Spirit gives me examples. There are things in each day.
Play and creativity. You know, the other thing I think about that's really been present with me in this is as I shift, the kindness and respect are two of the really the qualities from that surrender that are coming through the strongest, having to do with how we treat other people. So it's I and ourselves, that it has to start here, that love, as what we were just talking about.
And it's very difficult when so many people, I will say, are fatherless and motherless. And that doesn't mean they didn't have a mother and father, but that they have forgotten the original mother and father's teachings, or even to listen to what those are. What is a necessity? What do we need? As children, we want whatever the new thing is. But what do we need? And knowing the difference between our wants and our needs is huge. And we kind of have an arrogance to us as humans that this is taken a little bit of, we have to step back a bit. We don't get to have our way, but we do when it is rendered up for the unification, when it's raised up, that we're all doing the kindness inside of ourselves. So turn it towards yourself. Why aren't you kind? Because you were never taught kindness.
Exactly.
Oh no, I have good values. And I go,
Yes.
I say to some people,
Yes.
what would be an act of kindness that you give yourself today? And they go blank. And I said, what about falling in love with yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what you're becoming, like watching a beautiful one bud of a flower blooming.
Mm-hmm.
If that's all you got in a desert to watch.
Yes. Beautiful. I love that. So we're getting towards our near the end, and I wanted to leave a little time here. I just want to check to see if there were any questions, if anyone has any questions of Sweet Medicine. I'm looking in the chat box right now, and let's see. Okay, I'm not seeing anything.
Well,
So,
they can still be in contact with me.
absolutely. So what I wanted to share with you all is Sweet Medicine is actually, she touched on it a little bit, these readings that she's doing, these soul purpose. And I really loved, and I'm going to ask you to share a little bit more in just a minute. I just loved the, there are lots of readings out there, lots of things people could do. But what really struck me about this is, why are we here on this earth? What is our message? What is our mission? And some people have done a lot of exploration of that and may have an answer. Some people don't. But I think as we are emerging into this, creation, what really is so important, I think, is that we do what we love, that we do what's in our heart, what we're inspired to do. Because if we're not, then we're miserable. And if we're miserable, we don't treat ourselves well, we don't treat each other well, or the planet. And I think so much of the issue is that people are unhappy and they're just frustrated and not trusting and fearful, and they're not living what's here. And so often it's not even a matter of, well, if I live what's here, that means how can I support myself? Well, you can. It might not look the way you think it should look, right? Might not look like that at all. You don't know what it's going to look like. And it's trusting that place. So what Sweet is offering is this tool to tap that place, so then you can go in and create and discover what it may be, right? So would you like to say more about what you're offering?
Well, what I noticed, the reason why I'm doing this is selfish. And it's been that way for a long time. It's a private hope that I'm not going to be here on this planet the only one that knows what I'm supposed to be doing here and doing it. I want to help others do it. And so I got into a quandary because I've done Vision Quest in the indigenous way. I've helped at many in Mexico and Central America and South America and Europe. It's like I see this process and it requires that you have to surrender. But then it dawned on me, I knew something that could surpass the speed of that if people heeded it. And it is the soul purpose reading. When you were 7 weeks after conception, is the soonest that the electron microscope can find it is your fingerprint. Those fingerprints are not just your identity, they're your contract of your soul, where you came from, what you're to do here, and just what Grace said, if you're not doing that, then you're off track. What I help people to see is, and I notice a lot, is that we've shut off, we've frozen our potential because the world wasn't ready for us yet, nor were we ready to fully embody the light and the love and the kindness that isn't these words and their definitions, but the truth about what we are. So I thought, why wouldn't somebody want to know that? So I put people up on, the mountain and in their altars because it was a form that informed me. But what it did after many years is it got me to question, do we still have to go through an ordeal? Yes, we do. The ordeal is accepting our contract that we said before we were embodied that I will do this. I won't go down there and this is what I'm going to do. So there are basically 4 schools with some combinations that make it very special for us at this time, because we basically don't have too much past this 88% of us that have moved to the next zone from a different place that are coming here to witness. And we're all moving into witnessing. We're all moving into, even though we don't evolve, we're already evolved. We're starting to part the curtain that, oh my God, this isn't Kansas anymore. It's like, where are we? Who's driving the bus? And where are we going? So what this does is it helps to figure out, what is your lesson? What are you going to have to work with? Some of you already know all of this. But what this does is confirm. And it sets up the parameters of, oh, you said you do this. Are you doing that? Oh, no, I'm not. How am I going to do that and make a living? Just what Grace said. I have to tell you, this was not what I thought I was going to do in my life. I went towards medicine. I thought I got so far away from indigenous medicine that spirit just went, hello, no more of that. Go back to the original medicine. The answer is there. Crying, stomping, adrenal failure. I mean, I was put down to see, oh my God, I don't need to worry about those things because I have something else I need to do. And then it just unfolded. So I love to do that and help people. And it feels like I'm really assisting only as a witness and a gatekeeper to say, yeah, go on, go do this thing. Because some people are way more advanced than me. And I just love to see, what are they doing with that? Mm-hmm. How, and even if you were given a Mercedes Benz and $1 million house and you didn't know the value of it, you didn't have the keys to either thing, you wouldn't see it. But we were given riches beyond and abundance beyond our imagination. And we need to find that. Yes. So it isn't defined for us. We have to define it in ourselves.
Beautiful. Really beautiful. So we are going to post all of this information, and Sweet Medicine is offering a special just through this tribe here and for the month of May. And I know I'm going to do it. Just because it feels, I just love you and want to receive. So any questions or any other information will be posted. And I've just so enjoyed this time with you and hearing your wisdom and your heart. You just have so much. I'm so grateful. So grateful.
Thank you, Grace. Likewise. And our history goes way back during some crises and during, changes in our lives. And the good news is that even in choppy water, we're buoyant because we are spirit. So I'm so glad to see you in this form and what you're offering. And to all of you out there, a blessings to this time that you go out and remember your original mother. And then bless the mothers that gave you birth, whether they're embodied or not. And go and hug a tree. Go put your feet on the earth and remember where you came from. You touch the sky, Father, and you can be on the Mother Earth. What an amazing bridge that we are. bridge of love. In this sense, love is consciousness illuminated in frequency of light. You know, it's like just being the light that we are. And some people may not like it. It's okay. It's because when you see something you don't have, sometimes you do the opposite reaction because you don't know how to have it for yourself. So let's remember, what are our needs really, you know, rather than what we want. And thank you, Grace, for hosting this today, and the blessings to all of you in this precious time. And thank you for this moment that I get to be in your homes and your lives. I send a great sigh of gratitude to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sweet. Okay,
Mhm.
blessings to all.